Hello everyone, this is Generate Squid, and today we're having a look at the Blood that Night after the recent changes. And I was wondering, like, how does the Blood that Night play now compared to back then? And for those people who don't like tanks in PvP, you're gonna be very happy, and you probably already noticed that you're gonna be very happy, because Blood that Night got hit smack bang in the face with a big ass nerf. This Blood for Blood now costs a rune as well, and 10% of your total health. Well, I'm quite sure it costs a rune as well. But anyway, regardless if it costs a rune or not, that 10% hurts. So if you start like using it a few times in a row, you essentially could like drain your HP with 30%. So that's why I switched to that chain, which will see me doing like after the second arena. It's just that nerf is so immense to the Blood Dead Knight damage because you can't use that ability anymore because you will kill yourself. So how does that knight feel now? I'll leave that for after the video, but I just have to say that these changes are so in such a way that I feel like Blood Dead Knight is back to where it is on live, where you get like almost no one can beat you 1v1, but you're not a factor in arena because you can't do the damage anymore to validate you being there. Because they're just gonna focus the other DPS or the healer or whatever, and they're just gonna kill that person first and then take care of you, as you'll see in one of the arenas. But without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. So here we go into the first arena, where we play against a Frost Dead Knight and a monk. So I want to go for the Dead Knight because I know that the monk can like self-heal and touch of karma, and you know how that goes. So that's why I go for the Dead Knight for him here. For the Dead Knight first. And here you can see I'm almost dead, but here I use my... Like, I've been playing Blood Dead Knight for so long that I just automatically start pressing the cooldowns and then heal myself back up all the way. And here the problem is that they kite me, and because of that monk disable, it's like I cannot get in range of the Dead Knight. But the Dead Knight dies anyway to the monk, because the monk actually still has the mobility, whereas I don't have the mobility anymore. And here, this is the moment where I really feel that the blood, the hard strikes cost health. Because this is where I actually start killing myself on that person when I start to dash. Because I still want to damage like the old way that night worked, that you spent hard strike, but it actually kills me. So I was like, I played one game. I was like, okay, I guess something like that was happening, but I was just trying to make sure so I play another arena game. And after this one, I could just notice, like, first of all, the kiting tanks, way to go. It's like, tanks have no mobility, so it's really easy to kite it. But I noticed that I was just essentially killing myself and, like, putting myself at a disadvantage because of having the hard strike talented. So here I think I swapped it out in this one. Just go on that night again, as per with the first arena. And here I'm actually amazed at the amount of self-healing that the normal Dead Knight does now. It's like, it almost rivals a Blood Dead Knight self-healing, which is quite crazy. As you can see, it's like the massive chunks of health that come back every time they use a Death Strike. And I was like, well, I should have gone for the rogue, but it was already too late, so yeah. And this is exactly what I mean with like, if you, that's the problem now, because you're not that you don't do that much damage anymore, they will just kill your DPS and then kill you. Ah, so here's actually the arena where I switched it out. So the first 3 I played with killing myself, that's probably why I lost against the Frost Death Knight and the Rogue as well, because I was constantly killing myself. And here we play against one of those monks again, because you've seen that one in my video, my Vengeance Demon Hunter video as well, one of those monks that just keeps running away from me. So enjoy watching me run after the monk again. So here we play against 2 Pharaoh Druids. And we will see exactly again what it means now that the Death Knight, essentially your damage has been nerfed because you can't take that talent anymore without killing yourself. So perhaps in 3 vs 3 when you have a healer, you can get away with it. But then again, why would you pick it? It's like, you can get away with it, but it isn't really optimal, because the moment they see you drop low because you're spamming DPS, they will kill you. So here I chain them together for that damage. And I'm telling you now, if you could still run the old talent, we would have killed one of the druids here. That druid would have been dead probably. It's like if I could still use it. It's like if you look at how they focus the damage, you could have used it, but in the long run it's not worth having that talent. But just the overall nerf and damage, and then just this guy thing. It's like, the overall nerf and damage you have been, and like they've like nerfed like the scalings as well. This overall like nerfs on the Blood Dead Knight means that it's a lot more balanced, but you're essentially again to the old point of being Blood Dead Knight in Arena, that it's like you will win some games, but you will lose the most because they will just focus your DPS down and then kill you. So here I just showed this one to see that like you can still be useful as a Blood Knight, because yeah, you see their healer, which made that healer pop a shitload of cooldowns to save the priest, but it didn't work in the end because our monk is doing way too much damage. And there's this weird graphical glitch which looks really funny, but it's kind of annoying. I feel like monk, like for me personally, one of the strongest DPSs now is Windwalker monk. It's like every Windwalker monk I see is like annoying as fuck and does a shitload of damage. So if you're looking for like a good DPS, then Windwalker monk is probably the way to go. And exactly here, you probably can imagine my frustration. If I was able to run the old damage increasing talent, I would have killed that hunter there, and then I would have easily mopped up this last hunter. Well, easily, I would have mopped up the last hunter eventually, after being kited into oblivion. But yeah, that damage is like just the overall damage of Blood Knight has been reduced so much now that it's back to the point where it is in life, where you don't really want to run them. It's better to run a DPS because this is just not worth it. And here we have one of the rare cases where people actually focus the Blood Dead Knight, and this is where you shine. Because your DPS is damaging them as well, which means that they have to pop defensive so they can't properly nuke you. And then it's really, then Blood Death Knight shines, but let's be honest, it's like if you play against people who know what they're doing, then they won't, they would just ignore you and blow up the DPS. But yeah, I just want to show you where, like, this is like the like an ultimate situation for a Blood Death Knight where you can, nice misplacement of the energy magic zone by the way, but where Blood Death Knight works out really, really well. Just seeing them whilst they're being nuked by your teammate. So, as you can see from that gameplay, Blood Death Knight has now been reduced to the point of life values where, although they probably do a little bit more damage, but where you don't really want to have them anymore. So people who didn't want to see tanks in PvP, here you go. It's like, it's sad for me personally, because what I want to see more is that they changed the self-healing, but left the damage intact, but apparently they don't want tanks to do that much damage, which I understand. And so they nerfed the damage instead. And whilst that makes me sad, at the same time, it's like, tanks are mostly a PvE thing slash rated battleground thing, but it's still a little bit sad that the days of being like a complete stomper in battlegrounds in the arena is over for Blood Death Knight. And I also feel the same for Vengeance Demon Hunter is also over. So and those were like the top contenders for like arena power, because Paladin felt like in 1v1 you was super OP back then, and then in arena not that much. But so yeah, how does that Knight feel now? Not that viable in arena anymore. It's like you still are annoying and you still can do something. You're not shit, but you're not good anymore. It's like it's just take a DPS instead. So they have to focus one of you two instead of like just like, hey, there's a Blood Death Knight, let's focus the DPS and then take the Blood Death Knight out later. So yeah, sadly Blood Death Knight isn't overpowered anymore in arena. For those who like tanks, sadly, obviously. And the main cause is just, it's just that blood for blood talent that is just destroying yourself right now. It's like you're just helping the enemy kill you. So yeah, it's like Blood Death Knight, I guess it's like in a balanced spot now where it can be useful, but you're better off taking a DPS over it, and that's overall good for balance of the game, because let's be honest, tanks were really unhealthy before, where they just could destroy everyone in arena, no problem. Even 2 versus 1 was like easy. So yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this video, and yeah, that was the Blood Death Knight videos for now, probably, because I feel like Blizzard is not going to change that much anymore to Blood Death Knights. So overall verdict, finally Death Knight is in a balanced spot where they don't completely destroy everything in the arena anymore, and they're actually properly killable and easily countered with anything that has like any form of mobility and can slow the Death Knight continuously. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys the next time.